Hi, I'm Esther, and this is Esther's Gardening Adventures, and this will be the first in a series of updated videos I'm going to do on the winter sowing process. I did a set last year, but I feel like having gone through the process once, I can kind of add some value this time, so I figured I would do a new kind of instructional set. So I'm going to talk you through the whole process, but I'm going to start off with the basic, which is what is winter sowing and why you might want to consider trying it. So, what is winter sowing? Let's start off with what it is not. Winter sowing is not the same thing as winter growing. They can get confused sometimes. Winter growing is when you plant something like, let's say, kale in the fall, and then throughout the winter you harvest it and eat it. Winter sowing is actually the process of growing seedlings for your spring or summer garden. It is effectively the same thing or the replacement option for growing seedlings indoors. And the reason you should consider trying winter sowing instead of growing seedlings indoors is that winter sowing is so easy, low maintenance, almost too low maintenance. It makes you nervous, but it's so easy and it's so hassle-free. So if you're going to grow seedlings for your garden indoors, you have to buy all the setup. You have to buy grow lights, you have to have a place to put them, you have to invest in like trays and all that kind of stuff. In addition to that, you have to figure out the timing for growing seedlings indoors. You have to look at the packet and says, 6 weeks before your last average frost. And you have to count back in the calendar and start at 6 weeks. And then 2 weeks before, when the seedlings are ready, then you start hardening them outdoors. It's like growing seedlings indoors is complicated. With winter sowing, you literally just fill a jug, like a milk jug or a huge soda bottle, with soil and the seeds. You seal it up, you put it outside, and you leave it be until the spring. Basically, the seeds stay dormant all winter long, and then when it's warm enough, the seeds get the signal to germinate. They start growing naturally on their own, and the jug itself acts like a mini greenhouse in that the sun helps bring air in. The rain waters the jugs for you, and basically, once it's warm enough, you transplant them in the garden. Really, it's just so much easier than the growing seedlings indoor process. So pardon the outfit change. I filmed the first part of this last night. So like I said, the process is super easy. There are some caveats. So winter sowing does require a little bit of work on the front end. You do have to prepare the jugs. You do have to prep the soil. You have to buy the soil. You do have to fill the jugs. You have to buy some materials like duct tape and markers to make the labels, things like that. So there are some upfront costs. It's not like 100% cheaper, but I found it just to be much less expensive than when I kind of did a cost analysis for starting seedlings indoors. You can also, if you're used to growing seedlings indoors, you can grow some things indoors and then do some of the winter sowing process. So really, it's however you wish to do it. And in fact, I recommend the first time trying it, maybe not trying everything through the winter sowing process if you're familiar with the indoor seedling process. All right, some additional benefits to the process that I will add is, one, you're recycling plastic goods. You're keeping them out of the trash stream, because we know the recycling process is not that amazing right now. Two, you can kind of space out the process throughout the winter to kind of keep the excitement and momentum going of growing that you kind of miss not being in the gardening season, or you can do them all at once. But I personally enjoy to do like a few jugs every weekend, and it just kind of keeps me excited and feeling like less sad about not having a garden to work in at the moment. And I will say the final benefit is really just my experience. Based on my experience, the plants do really well growing in the jugs. So I might have overplanted. If you look back on my lessons learned video, I might have overplanted, and I grew 156 seedlings last year. What? I'm taping a video. Mwah. And I ended up having to give a lot of them away but it was a really neat experience. The other thing I found is that for the vast majority of plants that I grew in the winter sowing process, compared to ones that I ended up buying at the store or that I got from other people, the plants just tended to be hardier at the beginning and tended to perform really well. Now, a plant's only going to perform as well as its genetics allow it to, but I just found that they were very, very healthy. They had good root systems. They transplanted easy. They recovered quickly from the transplant. So I think I really enjoyed the process. And honestly, I would say out of all the different tricks and tips and processes I tried for gardening in the last season, in my first year in gardening, winter sowing was the most impactful and useful to me. And that's why I'm doing this series of videos. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in trying, please check back in, and I'm going to post a bunch of videos of every single angle I can think of about what I've learned from the process, and things like what materials you need, how to find some of the materials, because I know it can be a little harder with COVID-19 happening. Tips for how to plant your seeds, like how to space them, other considerations, the actual assembling of the jugs, labeling, all of that stuff. So I'm going to cover everything in this series, and unlike some people who like to make you pay for things, I'm doing it for free. All you gotta do is tune in. So please check back in. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, and if you're interested in seeing more of this content, please subscribe and make sure to hit that bell so you get notified when I post new videos. And otherwise, I will see you next time.